My name's Reverend Philip Kitoto, Senior Pastor here at International Christian Center. I welcome you to this week's episode of The Marriage Connection. My wife and I do walking together. We've been married over 33 years, and we still feel fit. We feel strong. Yesterday we were in a function somewhere, and the people we left there, who were basically our fellow teachers, almost age mates, man, they are old. Yeah, they are old. And yes, I know I'm old. I'm now, this December, I'll be 60 years. But, we just need to, God can actually give us a long life. But God has given us choices. And frustrate each other less. And whenever frustrations come, because they will do, Max Lucado says that conflict, I may not quote it exactly, but conflict is a must. Conflicts are a must, but combat is optional. And it's up to you to either choose to move your conflict to combat zone, or you can actually deal with your conflict in a more civil way and not stress each other. Did you realize that it's easier for us to, in our workplaces, even in our relationships with our friends, to give each other an extra mile? But it seems very hard to give your spouse that extra mile. Why is that possible? Why is that the case? And that's something that is about trust levels when you get married. You think that the other person knows and understands your expectations to a level that you yourself should be fulfilled instantly. And so by them not meeting you in that level, they have totally wounded and disappointed you. So we don't really do a lot in investing and sharing and doing a lot of disclosure. Before I begin my talk today, three things that are very important there is when two people are getting into a relationship or they are in a relationship, disclosure is a must. Disclosure helps you to know what the other person is made of. It helps you to know their expectations. It helps you to know their likes, their dislikes, the kind of food they enjoy, the kind of environment that is conducive, their goals, all those things. The other thing is a need to depart from the previous ways or the things that would contaminate the relationship. So there is disclosure, and then there is departure from things that seem to injure the relationship. You all know that even our body has to dispel of any things that are not good for the body. That's why you have the nose to breathe out bad air. You have your pores on your body that releases the toxins in the body. So departures are important, and there could be habits, there could be ways of doing things that need to be dealt with, and those are areas that are very key for any relationship. And then the third one, so there is departure, there is disclosure, there is departure, and then there is, what's the third one? Oh boy, it's just slipped my mind. All of them are D's, and I had them in my head. Yeah, demonstration. We have to learn to demonstrate our values. You can't talk that you love your spouse, you love your partner, and you do the opposite. So unless you demonstrate by mouth what you believe and what you say, it totally remains an illusion. It's just an illusion. It doesn't work. It is totally absurd that many couples can tell with one mouth, I love you, darling. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. Then they turn around and they are flirting with somebody else. It doesn't make sense. So until you demonstrate the values, you remain a cheat. You remain a liar. You remain a person who is taking advantage of the other person. So those three things, let them form our foundation of discussion today. So let's begin our marriage connection now and talk about how we can bring the best out of our spouses. How do you bring the best out of your spouse? In every relationship, there are expectations. Expectations must be communicated, and they must be communicated clearly, specifically, and without any ambiguity. Situations where such communication has been done, it is easier for the other person to know what is expected of them and what is expected of the relationship. And sometimes we give expectations that are way out there that may not necessarily be attainable. So just like we say that your goals must be what? Smart. That means they must be specific, they must be measurable, they must be achievable, they must be realistic, and they must be time-bound. I believe expectations need to be the same, because expectations that we have in relationships can frustrate our relationship because you feel like the other person is not really meeting those expectations. And so some people get frustrated because of unfulfilled expectations. They become unfulfilled demands, and then they begin to boil up into bitterness or anger or pain or disappointment or disillusionment because they have not been met. I believe that there are ways that we can bring out smart expectations. And the first way we can do that is focus on self. Number one is focus on self. Always ask yourself, is what I'm asking of my partner what I'm willing to be asked to do, and I will do it gladly? There are moments that we want others to serve us, but we are not willing to serve them in equal measure. For myself and my wife, we have always discovered that if I want my wife to always give me a cup of tea, I have always made it a practice, whenever possible, to practice giving her a cup of tea too. And you know what? It's not reduced me in any way. She's loved me more. The other day she said she's tired. She doesn't know what to cook. I told her, don't worry. You don't have to stress yourself. I went into the fridge. I found myself a sandwich, and I ate. And I woke up the following morning. I was still healthy and alive. I cannot die. You get what I mean? Sometimes we take these things too far. Because of what? Background, associations, and stigma that has been put on us. We think that the woman must do this for you. Yes, every woman knows I need to feed my man. There's no woman who doesn't have that understanding. They do, and they love to do that. But when will they feel like the way Jesus did to the disciples? Jesus said to the disciples, it's time for me to wash your feet. And he actually washed their feet. And he said, do this in remembrance of me. You know what, man? I've discovered that the more I present my wife in an honorable manner, the more she loves me. The more she finds it easier to serve me. So this morning we woke up at about 6 o'clock or 5:30, and she's asking me, so what would you like to have in the morning? I mean, if she was a frustrated woman, she would pretend she's totally asleep. If she's a woman whose expectations have never been met, she would be snoring at 6 o'clock. And you try to shake and you get so frustrated, you go fix yourself a cup of tea and go to work so angry. But here's a woman who is waking up gladly because she knows my man will always meet my expectations. So those expectations come from a place where you ask yourself, is what I'm asking of my partner what I'm able to do for them? Focus on self. Happiness, it is said that happiness is looking in a mirror and liking what you see. First of all, you must learn to like yourself before you can have the measure by which you can like others. Isn't that scriptural? Love others as you love yourself. And because we don't know how to take care of ourselves, and as particularly men, particularly as men, it is very strange that we take 2 minutes to bathe, 50 seconds to do our hair, shoes, we may never even brush them. We just, whatever we find, it's on. And we like ourselves not as well. And so we really harass the woman because we don't know how much it takes for her to get ready and to be smart. But we love them when they are smart. You get the irony? You want them smart, but you don't want to invest in them to be that. So I've discovered I need to like myself. I need to treat myself good. So when I like a nice restaurant, when I like sometimes to drive in a nice car, or I like to do this and do the other, the Bible says, husbands, love your wives in 2 ways. One, the way the church, Christ loves the church, and 2, the way the man loves himself. Are you getting the connection here? So the way you love yourself, look at that T-shirt there. This T-shirt here, it's not a T-shirt, it's like a jumper. It may have a lot of writings on it. Some of you may never appreciate it. But if Mrembo in any way messed up that T-shirt, or it could not be found, trouble would be in that house. Why? Because there is some meaning to that. It may look like a simple thing. It means a lot to that man. The issue here is, if I know what means a lot to me, I must equally know what means a lot to my spouse.
Welcome to VTV. Welcome to Vision Television, where truth counts.
If I know I need respect, I must know that they also need respect. But you see, we are so selfish. I think that I need to be respected. I am the man of this house. I need to be respected. Suppose the woman says, I'm also the woman of this house. I need to be respected. I mean, what would we think? What would we say? It would look awkward because we really have no understanding on how to really care for each other. So I'm spending some time here because it's important to know that the way we like ourselves translates into how we like others. I mean, ladies, take the amount of time you would spend in a salon or in a place where you go to do your hair and your makeup. The other day I went to try to do my face, and they were steaming my face, and they went and did my feet. That's the far I allowed them to go, my face and my feet. And my wife was seated there, so don't think I went to that place by myself. And they'd steamed my face, and I came out, and my face was feeling so tender. I was feeling so nice. I was feeling so good. And I could appreciate why my wife's face is always nice and tender. For us men, you just touch your face, it's looking so rough. But you know what? We're okay with it. It's game. It's nice. But when she goes there and takes 3 hours, you are so disappointed. How about when a man goes to repair the car? Because he likes himself, he spends 3 hours repairing the car, he's back home and you're complaining. You see, expectations are so important. And they come all the way from the place where you have to know yourself. Deal with self. Liking yourself deals with your insecurities. Do you know people who don't know how to love themselves will always be insecure when other people are around their spouses? Did you get what I said? Nobody can ever deal with your insecurity. You're always policing your man, always policing your wife. Why? Because you don't trust yourself. But if you trust yourself enough, you leave the other one to God. You tell God, you know what? You gave me someone, and I am trying my best to be who you want me to be to them. It is their duty to be who they need to be to me. But if you make demands, it can never work. That's why when we say things like, it doesn't make sense. When we say things like, but you are spending so much time there with the so-and-so than me. You begin to make demands, and yes, you may be expressing a point, but you're expressing a point in a form of a demand that doesn't make sense. So I've determined in myself to more so than ever demonstrate values by allowing those values to be seen through me. Then my wife is infected by those values, and vice versa. She does the same. Focus on the right things about yourself. What do you like? What do you think about? People who like themselves allow themselves to think about things that build them. When you like to, for example, build your self-esteem and build your potential, you will always want to do the same for your spouse. We have to always understand that love is not a feeling, but it is a verb. It is an action. So when I say love yourself or like yourself, I'm talking about you actualizing and putting into practice certain things that show you actually value you. You value this man, you value this woman, and wanting to make them be appreciated. We need to learn to take responsibility about self. Mistakes we make, opportunities we miss. We need to show responsibility. Sometimes we are very strange. We know that we didn't do certain things right, but we don't take responsibility. Have you ever found that you've kept your shoes in the house or keys or something, and then you look for them for 30 minutes and you can't find them? Anyone? Yeah. When you find them, what do you say? Fuchs, I found them. That's all you say. But you have harassed your spouse in looking for them. Are you sure you didn't move them? Are you sure you didn't take them? Are you sure did you ever apologize after getting them? I'm sorry for I am sorry for just embarrassing you, even if it's just the two of you. You know, we say this to me and my wife. There's a way we make fun of things. I can be holding keys in my hands. All right? I'm holding them, and then I'm looking around. I'm asking my wife, where are the keys? Where are the keys? We need to be getting going. We are getting late. And then she looks at me and says, they are in your hands. And then I look at her and say, oops, I am getting old. And I'm really sorry, honey. You know, I try to make sure that I don't take her for granted. She has to know that I take responsibility for my mistakes. You know? Small little things is what the Bible says, take care of the little foxes, because they will spoil the vine. And these are the ones that build up and destroy the kind of love that the two of you need to have. People who can never be responsible over themselves will never really be responsible over other people. Matthew chapter 22 and verse 39 simply says, a second command I give you, you shall love your neighbors yourself. The measure of loving others is how you love self. The implied meaning here is you shall love your neighbor just as you are to love yourself. Second way, first one is, focus on self. The second one is just know that you need to offer the needed support. Offer the needed support. To bring out the best potential in your partner, offer the needed support. You see, God gave the man and the woman the ability to better each other's experience on earth. This is a lifelong process. How can we better the person so that they are looking nicer than you found them? In fact, I could say now, for those of you who are married, is your partner better than you found them? Or are they worse off than you found them? That's a hard one, isn't it? In most relationships, it is sad that we take advantage of others, but we really never leave them better than we found them. And here I'm talking about if, say, Dina is not feeling more worthy today, if Dina is not feeling more endowed today, blessed and happy to be a woman and enjoying to even walk before her peers with courage, then I have done zero work. Yesterday we were at a meeting where she used to teach. And she used to teach in this big school. I taught there too for a short while. And my wife, her job was terminated at that time. But we went back and we said bye-byes, and my wife went through a bit of time. You know, when you lose your job, I affirmed her. I told her, you can still make it. You can get another job. She got another job. After that, she said, you know what? I'm happy to support you and to be with you because I think I will add value to who you are. And I told her exactly what I need. And she stopped working out there. So they invited us after maybe 16 years or 15 years to go back and visit the school. And we were the guest of honors, the chief guest in the graduation ceremony. And I could never been proud of my wife. the chairman stood and gave such accolades about myself and my wife. And she stood strong on the pulpit. A former teacher, now a chief guest. I couldn't feel any gladder, if there's a word like that. I felt so nice, and I affirmed her. I said what she means to me, and my success is part of what she has done. We need to offer each other the support that is needed. When your man loses a job and he can't find a job for about 2-3 months, what do you say? I'm so stressed. I'm so stressed because, when I come here, I just find you sitting here. Is he actually sitting there? Maybe he's been on phone throughout. Maybe he went to 3-4 places, and what he was told, he does not even want to mention to you, because it is demeaning for a man to even say those words that he was told. I don't know. How well do we encourage each other? Do we just dig into each other? Do we just blast each other? Do we just look for opportunities to demean and to talk so low of each other? Or do we look for opportunities to actually bring the best out of each other? You're dying to ask a question.
We men naturally, we are fixers. We want to offer a solution. And that may not be what they want. So she's talking to you and explaining all these things, but you're probably making it worse by suggesting all these things she needs to do. Instinctively as a man, you get there. How do we strike that balance? How do we know when she just wants to download, to vent, and when she actually needs you to offer support?
Mm-hmm. We are wired so differently, and what you're asking is a problem in every relationship. When we think that when somebody asks a question, all they need is, yes, the money is on the table, pick it and go do whatever you want. This woman maybe did not even need money to do her hair. She needed you to accompany her for the very first time to the salon, or she wanted you to accompany her to do the shopping. It was not just about the money. So the thing here is trying to dig deeper. That's where we need to get ourselves going. We are learning to value ourselves by what we have.
It's something that will annoy me, and then visitors could come at some point, and maybe I have not gone to the loo, and it's embarrassing for both of us.
So you move away from pointing a finger to being a part of the solution and a part of the problem. You have been watching The Marriage Connection here at the International Christian Center. We welcome you to join us again for the next episode. God bless you.